He killed Neytiri's father. He hunted Jake across 2 films. But everything you thought you knew about Avatar's arch-villain is about to be tested. Before Fire and Ash changes everything, here's everything you need to know about Colonel Miles Quaritch. Early life and the Resource Wars. Miles Quaritch was born on Earth between 2096 to 2103. Earth by that time was dying. Overpopulated, resource depleted. Quaritch grew up in a world at war with itself. He joined the United States Marine Corps and became exactly what the military needed. A career soldier, fearless, disciplined, effective. Quaritch fought in the Resource Wars, the brutal conflicts over Earth's remaining resources. According to early Avatar tie-in books and the official Pandorapedia entry, he survived 3 combat tours in Nigeria. By his own account, he came through those wars without a scratch. His combat record was stellar. That reputation caught the attention of the Resources Development Administration. The RDA was mining a rare element called unobtainium on Pandora, 4.4 light-years from Earth. They needed security. They needed someone who could keep the indigenous Na'vi population in check and protect mining operations at all costs. In 2152, Quaritch accepted the role of SecOps Colonel, Chief of Security for RDA's Hell's Gate colony on Pandora. His mandate was simple: safeguard the mining operations, keep the Na'vi under control. But this mission proved to be far from simple. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more character deep dives. Arrival on Pandora, the scars that defined him. Quaritch's very first day on Pandora left a permanent mark. Shortly after arriving in 2152, he was ambushed by a pack of viperwolves. The attack tore 3 deep claw scars into the side of his head and skull. Most people would have returned to Earth for reconstructive surgery, but Quaritch refused. He wore those scars as a badge of pride. From that day forward, Quaritch saw Pandora as a hellish place that only uncompromising vigilance and firepower could tame. By the time of Avatar 2009, in 2154, Quaritch had been running security on Pandora for at least 2 years. He transformed SecOps into a highly disciplined, militarized arm of the RDA's colonial presence. He even piloted a personalized dragon gunship emblazoned with a snarling dragon insignia, a symbol of his intention to dominate the skies of Pandora. When he briefs new arrivals, Quaritch warns them that the Na'vi have bones reinforced with naturally occurring carbon fiber, and that they are very hard to kill. This shows us 2 things at once: his respect for how dangerous the Na'vi are, and how comfortable he is talking about killing them. The First War, Avatar, 2154. The events of Avatar show Quaritch is the main antagonist. He takes a keen interest in Jake Sully, a newly arrived former Marine using an Avatar body to interact with the Na'vi. Impressed by Jake's military background despite his paraplegia, Quaritch recruits him as an informant. He strikes a deal. If Jake gathers intel that helps persuade the Na'vi to cooperate or relocate, Quaritch will get Jake his legs back by securing the expensive surgery required. Initially, Quaritch sees Jake as an asset. He briefs Jake that his job is to find out what the Na'vi want and report back. Make the mining agenda easier. But as Jake grows closer to the Na'vi and begins questioning RDA's exploitation, Quaritch grows suspicious, then hostile. By the time Jake openly rejects RDA's plans, Quaritch feels personally betrayed. He views Jake's defection as treason against his own species. He even asks him, "How does it feel to betray your own race?" This line encapsulates Quaritch's mindset. He sees the Na'vi as an alien enemy. Any human sympathy toward them is profound betrayal. Tensions escalate. When the Omaticaya fight back by destroying RDA equipment, Quaritch concludes diplomacy has failed. He pressures Administrator Parker Selfridge to authorize a strike on the giant home tree. He promises the operation will be non-lethal and humane. In reality, the assault is devastating. In August 2154, Quaritch leads gunships in raining gas and missiles upon home tree. He forcibly displaces the Omaticaya, killing many Na'vi in the process, including Neytiri's father, Etukan, the clan's leader. This is the moment Quaritch crosses the line, from soldier to butcher. He shows no remorse as the Na'vi's ancestral home burns. He treats it as a clean military victory and even jokes with his men about buying a round of drinks. The Battle of the Tree of Souls. The climax of Avatar sees Quaritch personally lead SecOps forces in the Battle of the Tree of Souls on August 23, 2154. Donning an AMP combat suit, he takes to the battlefield. Quaritch's strategy nearly succeeds in destroying the sacred Tree of Souls. He flies to the site with a payload of explosives, but the Na'vi counterattack, aided by Pandora's wildlife, thwarts the RDA. The showdown narrows to Quaritch versus Jake and Neytiri. In a ferocious duel, Quaritch's AMP suit goes up against Jake's avatar and Neytiri's arrows. Quaritch demonstrates formidable combat skills. He gravely wounds Jake's human body by rupturing the link unit, leaving Jake moments from death. But Neytiri intervenes. She launches 2 arrows straight into Quaritch's chest. The Na'vi woman whose father Quaritch killed brings the colonel down. Quaritch slowly expires as Neytiri stands over his body. The RDA is forced to withdraw from Pandora. The Hidden Legacy, Paz Socorro, and Spider. In the aftermath of the RDA's expulsion, Avatar: The High Ground expanded Quaritch's story. Quaritch had fathered a child on Pandora. During his final year on Pandora, Quaritch engaged in a relationship with an RDA Scorpion gunship pilot named Paz Socorro. Paz gave birth to a boy named Miles, nicknamed Spider, just months before Quaritch's death and the RDA's defeat. The High Ground includes flashback scenes of Quaritch kissing Paz. Tragically, Paz Socorro died during the RDA's last stand. The infant Spider was left as an orphan. Because human infants couldn't be placed in cryosleep for the long interstellar journey, Spider was left behind on Pandora. He was raised by the few human scientists allowed to remain. Neither Jake Sully nor the Na'vi initially knew Spider's paternity. It became a ticking time bomb, as we're about to see. Project Phoenix, the backup. While Spider is growing up, Quaritch's legacy looms large over RDA planning. Stung by their defeat in 2154, the RDA began preparing to return with greater force. A secret initiative known as Project Phoenix was launched to preserve the brain trust of key military personnel in case of death. Before the final battle, Quaritch and selected members of his elite SecOps team had their consciousness and memories digitally backed up. Quaritch even records a kind of farewell briefing for his possible successor, acknowledging he might not be coming home, as we see the Recom Quaritch watching at the start of The Way of Water. This becomes the mechanism to resurrect him. As James Cameron put it, Quaritch is the same guy, same mother through all 4 movies. The saga's consistent dark force instead of a new villain each time. Do you think Quaritch can be redeemed, or is he too far gone? Give us a thumbs up if you think he still has some good inside him. Resurrection, The Way of Water, 2170. By 2170, 16 years after the events of the first film, the RDA returns to Pandora in full force, founding Bridgehead City and beginning outright colonization. As part of the new invasion fleet, the RDA deploys Recombinants, laboratory-grown Na'vi-human hybrid bodies implanted with the memories of fallen soldiers. Foremost among these is Recombinant Miles Quaritch, an avatar body genetically patterned from Quaritch's DNA and memory imprint. Quaritch is cloned into a Na'vi form, a near duplicate of the original Colonel, complete with his voice, personality, and memories up until the last data backup before the 2154 battle. This recombinant Quaritch stands around 9 to 10 feet tall with blue skin like the Na'vi, yet he retains the military crew cut, accent, and aggressive demeanor of his human predecessor. Crucially, while he remembers almost everything up to the battle, he has no memory of his own death. The last thing he remembers is going into combat, confident of victory. Upon awakening, General Ardmore briefs him on his mission: hunt down and kill Jake Sully, neutralize Na'vi resistance, and make Pandora safe for large-scale colonization. One of his first independent acts is to revisit the site of his own death. He finds the skeletal remains of human Quaritch, still pinned to the jungle floor by Neytiri's arrows, 16 years later. This gives Recom Quaritch an existential moment early in the film. He picks up his human skull with his Na'vi hands and crushes it. It's the moment the old Quaritch truly died, and something much stranger was born. The Spider connection. Quaritch's vendetta against Jake Sully drives much of the Way of Water's conflict. He tracks Jake's family. In the process, Quaritch encounters Miles Spider Socorro, now a teenager who happens to be his own biological son. Spider, who grew up among Jake's Na'vi family, is captured by Quaritch's Recom squad. Although Quaritch initially views the boy as a useful hostage and guide to Pandora, their relationship evolves in complex ways. Learning of Spider's parentage unsettles Quaritch. He cannot ignore the familial bond. Throughout the film, Quaritch keeps Spider close, at times treating him harshly, other times he is protective of him. Spider teaches Quaritch and his Recom squad how to speak some Na'vi and navigate Pandora's fauna, ironically initiating Quaritch into the very culture he once sought to destroy. In one memorable sequence, Quaritch even tames an Ikran with Spider's guidance. Far from respecting Na'vi tradition, Quaritch treats the feat as a military exercise, wrestling the Banshee into submission. Yet his ability to do so proves that Quaritch can literally plug into Pandora's ecosystem as a Na'vi does. The Second War and Defeat. Quaritch relentlessly pursues Jake Sully across the planet. He demonstrates cunning and brutality, commandeering a whaling vessel and terrorizing the seas, killing the Metkayina's sacred Tulkun creatures to draw Jake out of hiding. This leads to the climactic confrontation in 2170 on the deck of a sinking ship at sea. Quaritch manages to capture Jake and Neytiri's children and uses Kiri and Took as bait to force Jake to surrender. In a tense standoff, Quaritch holds a knife to young Kiri's throat. Neytiri, in turn, grabs Spider and presses her blade to the boy's chest. This moment is revealing. Quaritch is faced with his own son's life being threatened, just as he once threatened Neytiri's family. He tries to call Neytiri's bluff, coldly stating that Spider means nothing to him. But when Neytiri actually draws blood, Quaritch falters, betraying that Spider does in fact mean something to him. The sequence ends with Jake and Quaritch engaging in a brutal one-on-one fight underwater. Jake overpowers Quaritch, puts him in a chokehold, leaves the Colonel for dead in the ocean. Quaritch, however, cheats death yet again. Spider finds his unconscious body and rescues him from drowning. When Quaritch regains consciousness, he quietly whispers, "Son," grateful, but perhaps surprised that Spider saved him. He even pleads for Spider to come with him. Spider refuses and flees to rejoin the Sullys. Did Spider make a mistake, or did he do the right thing? Let us know in the comments. The film ends with Quaritch still alive and having suffered a second humbling defeat by Jake, but having survived the ocean, he's about to walk into the fire. The future. As Fire and Ash approaches, Quaritch's role looks set to evolve. One major development is the introduction of the Ash People, a volcanic-dwelling clan of Na'vi. Their leader, Varang, is expected to be a formidable presence. Early footage and the film's trailer have shown Quaritch interacting with her. This raises several possibilities. Quaritch might forge an alliance with the Ash People, perhaps appealing to a shared interest in defeating Jake Sully's coalition. Alternatively, Quaritch could infiltrate or antagonize them. Cameron has confirmed that Quaritch will not be the same one-note villain in Avatar 3. He stated that Quaritch is undergoing an identity crisis and existential dilemma in Fire and Ash. He will be wrestling with questions of who he is, now that he's a recombinant with a human son. Cameron even teases a possible redemption arc. He could connect to Pandora, he could plug in. I don't want to tell you where it goes, but we're going to see all this play out because Jake would rather have this guy on his side. This implies that at some point, Jake Sully might attempt to turn Quaritch away from the RDA, or at least appeal to any good left in him. Cameron further noted that having the hero and villain simply trying to kill each other repeatedly would be dull. So it gets much snakier. Quaritch's soul is very much in play in movie 3. We might see truces or common enemies forcing Quaritch and Jake to cooperate. Stephen Lang emphasized that Quaritch and Spider's dynamic will deepen and take some dark turns. We can expect Quaritch to be increasingly protective of Spider. It is possible that by the end of the Avatar saga, Quaritch is not the ultimate villain, but a complex anti-hero. So maybe he is no longer just a villain. A man caught between two worlds. Human memories in a Na'vi body. A Na'vi father trying to connect with a human son. A soldier questioning his mission for the first time. Subscribe now so you're ready when Fire and Ash arrives. And let us know what you are looking forward to most in the comments below. The battle for Quaritch's soul is about to begin.